Hi guys. So what I want to talk about today is when you're starting out working with kids who are young, typically they haven't been exposed to therapy yet, or a lot of therapy and interventions yet. So one of the first things you want to do is you want to work on them complying with a non-preferred task demand. So this is for those kids who just kind of walk around the room, they don't play, they just kind of stay in their own world. And maybe they play by themselves in kind of a ritualistic or repetitive kind of behavior, stacking blocks, lining things up. But they, for the most part, you go into a preschool classroom, the teacher's like, they don't come to circle time, they just walk around the room, they scream, they don't join the class at all, they don't follow directions, they don't comply with anything, and they're quite aggressive whenever we do try and enforce anything. So the first thing that I usually look to work on is getting them to comply with something. And the way that you do that is you give them a simple directive. So let's say I want them to put away their toys and join circle time. And so essentially they need to put in and sit. That's kind of two tasks. So it might be better to just start with one, but I'm going to go with two, and you can break it down and make it just put in, or you can make it just joining circle time. But so the way I would do that is they're playing with whatever they're playing with. I'm going to block access to everything that they want until they do what I want. And so I'm going to show them too, I'm going to model it, put in, and so I'm going to have the bucket, and I'm going to take the toys around them, and I'm going to put that toy in the bucket and say put in, and I'm going to kind of prompt them and really just be in their way. And I'll even try, if they're willing to allow me to give them hand-over-hand assistance, I'll do that. I'll put in, and I'm okay with that, especially if it's the first time. Hand-over-hand assistance does count. If they're allowing you to let you help them, that totally counts. But so I'm going to block access, and this might take, I've done this for like hours with a kid before, but it is really important to kind of break through that non-compliance. And some of it is just they don't understand what you're wanting from them. They have receptive and expressive deficits, but the thing is, we need to grow these babies so that they can function in a world that isn't made just for them. So I want them to be the most functional that they can possibly be. So that does mean, like, you need to, even if it makes you upset, you need to comply with directives that you might not love. So I'll block access to everything. Physically, I'll just block it, or I will stand in front of it, or put it away, or put it above where they want. And maybe I'll even have a preferred item that I know they really want that they can work for. You put that in, you can have this first. And so a lot of, you'll hear this in the autism world, is first then. So you can say first this, then this, or you can have a picture board that has first and then, and you can put a picture of what they're supposed to be doing first and then what they'll get then. So that's where you would start, is blocking access and just being very calm. Redirect every once in a while, but not constantly, because again, they typically have processing delays, so they need that time to like understand what you're wanting. Support it with some visuals, model it if you need to, provide hand-over-hand assistance if you need to, until they do it. And once they do it, just give them lots of praise and hype. They don't normally like that because they don't normally like noise or being in their face, but I do genuinely think they like it deep down, but they're kind of reactive to it at first. And then you can then sit at circle time. We're going to sit, and show them a picture or a visual of sit, point to where they're going to sit, maybe give them handheld assistance if they're going to allow you to there, and then they've completed what you've asked. And honestly, that would be all that I would probably work on in one day. If this is not something that a child has done before, that's more than enough. And if you're working with them at home, like, do one task in a day, like one task, have a designated time. If you're a parent, I'm going to set 20 minutes aside, or actually I wouldn't give it a defined time. I would just say, today we're going to work on this one thing. And I'm going to wait him out or wait her out until they're capable of doing it. And then that's all. That I'm going to reward them and love them and give them so much praise so that they understand it. I'm going to support them with visuals, model things, verbal, but then be done. Because it's a lot of work and it's hard on these little babies. So I hope that helped. love those sweet babies, and give me any comments or feedbacks if you need it.